Next topic. We never talk about Star Wars on the show.
It's about time. Let's dig into something new. Some uncharted territory.
Yeah. I don't
What
know
is this show again? What's it about?
It's called Star Wars. Basically, it's about when Captain Picard finds a lightsaber, he gives it to Hufflepuff, and they have to fight this alien called a xenomorph. But you know what? It's going to take too long to explain all that
Someone's
type of
been reading
stuff,
my fan fiction.
You know, that,
Universes colliding.
you know what that makes me think of? That episode of The Office where, what is it? Dwight is just huge into, Battlestar Galactica. And Jim's trying to mess with him, and Jim says, you shouldn't be wasting 30 seconds of the day. And he's like, so you never waste 30 seconds? So all day, Dwight is at his desk. He's even peeing in a can underneath to prove to Jim he'll never stop. So finally, to mess with him, Jim goes up to someone else. Who's the guy that punched through the wall in the show?
Punch through the wall?
Had the anger management was the main boss towards the end of the show. Oh, what the hell's his name?
Ed Helms?
He called him Big Tuna, yeah. What's he calling the show?
Okay.
I don't know, whatever it is. He's talking to him, and he's trying to explain Battlestar Galactica to him, saying all this shit wrong, just like we just did about Star Wars. And he goes, that sounds kind of like the original series, which apparently it's way different. He goes, it's actually a shot-for-shot remake, and you just watch Dwight just cringing the whole time. So, anyway, back to Star Wars. Lucas has made some changes to his masterpieces over the years. If you guys aren't aware, many times. In fact, I've lost count. Not all of them I think are bad, and obviously I'm not the only person. There's some other people that think that there's some good stuff out there too. But changes, and we can say not just changes to the original trilogy. I think though that's going to be the most dominant. Maybe just changes to the Star Wars mythology in general. What are some of the worst? What are some of the best?
Let's start with the positive,
Go.
because I know as soon as those floodgates open,
We can go either way.
I want to start and actually get the good stuff out of the way, because
Okay.
the fun stuff is.
Why
gonna
don't we
be
do some good stuff, then let's go into the worst, because that's going to be easy,
Yeah.
and then we'll finish up with a few more positives.
If we
we'll
can
mix
think
it
of
up if we can find any. Yeah.
The one thing that I do remember from the original series that I thought was interesting. It wasn't really a make or break. Added that much to the film, but I didn't think it really hurt at all. It was remaking the openness of Cloud City. Whereas, in the original series, essentially you're just looking through a bunch of sheer white corridors, and then to kind of see what he was originally going for, which is actually a lot more like, windowed, open. You can actually look out and see the city as a whole when you're just walking through hallways.
And it didn't look fake either.
No, yeah, I mean it
didn't
looked good,
forced.
but I liked that kind of design for that. That seemed to kind of match actually a little bit more closely to what I would imagine Cloud City to be.
Yeah.
Not really just these enclosed compartments, but more expansive.
Especially when you see it from the exterior, and then when you look back to what we watched as kids, it felt like, boy, everything's just a hallway, isn't it? Do they even know where they are?
White hallway.
What else you got?
Let's do one at a time.
Okay, cool. Matt, think hard.
I don't want you taking my thunder.
Yeah.
Remember, Matt, positives. Okay, good things.
Positives. The one thing I really did appreciate in the prequels, and I'm going to say this is a change, was the actual care that they took towards the combat and the fighting styles of the Jedi.
Showing Jedis in their prime.
Yeah, I mean, that aspect of it I really did enjoy, actually seeing these people. I remember going back and watching Return of the Jedi, and when Luke gets captured by Jabba the Hutt, and they're taken out to the Sarlacc pit, and just how clumsy some of those shots were. I'm like, how in the hell did he deflect that? Because it looked like his lightsaber was like...
He's swinging it around like a mop.
Yeah. It's like, it looked like he would have hit it right there.
The fight between him and Vader and Jedi, even watching today, is actually still pretty good. It's not as good. It's not as fluent as the prequel stuff, but it's not embarrassingly bad like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fighting in 4.
The Cloud City fight you're talking
No,
about, right?
I'm talking about on the Death Star. When Luke...
I thought the Cloud City fight was better than the Death Star fight.
Don't get me wrong. I like that fight better, and it made more sense. Yeah, I'm sorry. You go ahead and finish your point.
No, okay, sorry. Not that we ever get off track. But that to me was like an evolution of it. So you actually put some kind of an art behind it, right? It became I don't want to call it a martial art, but it actually became like a fighting skill, and you actually got to see that through
they
the
even
prequels.
called it the Jedi arts. I mean, it is kind of a martial art and part of the training. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess if we're going one at a time, that's that's one
No,
of the,
I
that's one of the
totally
benefits.
I totally agree with you. I remember when they were doing that, they said that was intentional. I mean, at the beginning, when even Lucas talked about, I know that we bash him and make fun of him all the time. Again, I still think he's a genius. He's a really smart guy. It's just his directing style I'm not a big fan of. But even when he talks about the fights, about how Obi-Wan and Darth Vader and 4 were fighting, well, Vader doesn't give a shit. He doesn't, he's easily got Obi-Wan overpowered. He's not even trying at all. In 4, you can tell Vader's not even really trying to hurt Luke. He's just trying to fight him. I mean, he's fighting Luke one-handed. If you watch the fight, he does not give a shit. He's not fighting very hard because his intention isn't to kill him. And when they go to the prequels, one of Lucas's biggest things was, well, we've never really seen Jedis in their prime, and there was really no reason to show Vader doing what he can do because he was fighting an old guy he didn't give a shit about, and Luke, a son he was not trying to kill. So we've never really seen Jedis in their prime, and I love the fight. I mean, that's probably the best part about the prequels. Do you remember when we first watched that trailer? I was a sophomore in college for episode 1, and you watched that little quick glimpse of Obi-Wan fighting Darth Maul and how quick it was.
Yeah.
Those fights are still awesome. And those have actually passed on to the Clone Wars TV series because the fights are still dynamic, which is great too. Totally agree with you. I was actually going to say something similar to that, but I'll tweak it a little bit and say here's my tweak, and then I'll actually give you a real one. The lightsabers in the original trilogy, when they remastered it and made it, especially the ones in 4, look as good as the rest of them, thank God. Yeah. Because, when they were making the lightsabers in 4 and they were still testing some stuff out, there were some scenes where Obi-Wan's lightsaber almost disappeared on screen. It looked like shit. So rotoscoping them properly like they have with the rest of them to get them up to date for how they actually should have looked, I think it was great. But the one that I will add is I think putting the guy that played the Emperor, Ian
something or other.
Yeah, whatever his name was, the guy that played the Emperor in Jedi and the prequels, putting him into 5 made way more sense. And it actually looks better and the dialogue's better than the guy they had before that looked like he had the orangutan eyes. That was just
looked
fucking.
Like he'd been in a fight. And lost.
Oh, dude, it just feels out of place and weird.
Dude, put a cold steak on those things. That's swelling down.
Oh God! And having him say the son of Skywalker, I think that was a good thing. I think adding in there actually completes the original trilogy the way it should have been, as opposed to adding things that we didn't want or didn't need, which we will definitely get into. So there's a positive from all of us. Do you have any more positives before you want to go into the negatives, or do you want to go into the negatives?
I got nothing left.
Okay, so remember, we're not just bashing on the prequels. We're saying what changes did Lucas make that suck. Now, this could be a long episode. So brace yourself. You might want to go get a snack. Thousands of years ago. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, let's just start with the addition of Hayden Christensen at the end of Jedi.
Oh
get the big
God.
one out of the way. At least with some of his other changes, he tried to keep continuity with the original trilogy, with the prequels. But that one, it didn't make sense. It was poorly done.
You know why Lucas said he did that?
Jedi.
Yeah, but that's loose logic.
But see, I think his argument doesn't hold up as far as, I mean, he's saying that basically when you become a Sith, I don't mean to interject, I just want if we're going to talk about this point. When you become a Sith, when you give into the dark side, it basically consumes you that you're a different person. Even though you're still the same body, the same person, it's kind of like split personalities, and one completely takes over the other. So the fact that he stopped being Anakin Skywalker is completely true. He wasn't Anakin Skywalker. He was a completely different personality that consumed and took over him. So by the time he's redeemed at the end, the one that lived on is a Force ghost, even though we don't know how he did that because he never learned how to do it.
He's the chosen one.
Yeah, but apparently there is a secret reason why. Maybe we'll find out someday. Is because if that was his identity that lived on, it was not Darth Vader. It was Anakin Skywalker's identity. What I don't understand is, so the spirit never ages? Ever? No? We're going to show an image of a physical body, but it's not. It's the spiritual side. But the spirit never ages, so that doesn't make. They could have still kept the old. I don't like that they did that either. Yeah. Totally agree with you. What else you got?
The
How much time you got?
Yeah.
Settle in.
The changing of the battle on Hoth, where instead of blasters, everyone's running around with walkie-talkies. Walkers with just walkie-talkies on the sides of their heads.
Yeah.
It was
That would be a great fan film.
It was just horrific. No, I mean there's plenty to dig from here. I'll stick with Jedi for now.
We can keep going around if you want to. We'll probably stay on the
I can-
negative train a while.
Yeah, I can. This one will kind of tie back. Not really, but whatever. The singing routine in Jabba's palace.
That was gonna be mine. Yeah,
with that.
this
CGI.
CGI floozy with like the anteater nose
and
or
the
anteater
cartoon element that comes right in your face.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, just
Who Framed Roger Rabbit moment right there.
It was just.
What are
they doing here?
At the beginning, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Party people.
Yeah. Do you remember what the tone of Star Wars is, or do you need to watch the holiday special again? Because I think someone forgot here. My God, that was torture to watch.
That entire song routine.
And that guy that's like, made no sense. A CGI Muppet is basically what it looked like.
Yeah.
And Lucas always said, when people complain when I use CGI, I'm like, it looks more real than a puppet. I disagree. When you're watching it as a human, you might know it's a puppet, but you know it's physically there in the shot. And when you watch a CGI and you know it's not physically there, there's that whole uncanny valley that they call it that takes you away from it. And I don't think Lucas ever or still understands that. Yeah. I think that a puppet, even though you know it's definitely a puppet, looks more real because you know it's fucking there.
Well, it's physically in the shot.
Yeah.
It is exposed to the exact same light as everything else that is put in the environment of.
Yep. And it's more easy to believe that you got something that just moves a little different or like a puppet, but it might be real as an alien than something that you can definitely tell is added onto the shot later that, I don't know.
Has no place there.
No place there.
No.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Matt, what do you got? Remember, negative, so dig deep.
Negatives. I loved everything you did to change it. I could kind of go 4, 5, and 6 individually.
We all
right,
could.
Okay, so the scene in Mos Eisley after they make the deal, and then there's that whole thing that, we wanted to put this in the original, but we couldn't with Jabba beating Han at the Millennium Falcon. That looked like crap.
Yep.
Did it really add anything to the story? It didn't. I mean, they could have completely eliminated that, but it's almost like here's George Lucas trying to show off. And it's like that whole when Han steps over him. I don't care if that was old footage that they used.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah.
And it looked like
stupid.
shit.
It looked
Watch
awful.
it today. It does not hold up well at all, whereas the puppet stuff holds up just like it did back in the day.
So that was a big one for me. In Return of the Jedi, I can't really think of a whole lot, to be honest with you.
That's all right. That's okay.
But obviously, I'm in agreement with you on the Force Ghost, and then changing the Yum Yum song at the end.
Yeah, that was gonna be one of mine too.
Where
I freaking hate that.
Went away from the Ewoks, and we already talked about it before, where all of a sudden there's celebrations throughout the galaxy. No.
Apparently, we had enough people to overthrow the Empire at any given moment. We were just weak little ants that never chose to band together. Apparently, there was rebel supporters everywhere that we just didn't know about. We weren't the underdogs that we found out later.
They're fair weather fans.
Yeah.
They found out, oh, wait, these guys blew up. I like these guys now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all those people you saw tearing down Saddam Hussein's statue after he lost.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, we love America
Didn't see
now.
you taking any bullets.
I don't even think we need to go into this one very much, so I'm not even going to count this one. I'll say another one after this because this one's been talked to death, and I think everyone's in unanimous consent on this one. The Greedo shooting first, that's just ridiculous. Yeah. So it's like David Spade talking about Milli Vanilli. Next one, too easy. We're not even going to count that one. I've actually got some stuff that's popping into my head that I actually liked because we're not even really going to talk about how bad the prequels are. We're just talking about changes. I'm trying to think what else there was. In 5, there was a couple that I liked. In 6, the only here's the one I'll say. The little scenes that they did add, especially in 4, A New Hope. The one where they're on the stormtroopers are on the dewbacks in the desert. That's not as noticeable. It is a little bit more today just because our CGI has evolved to the point where it's gotten so good that you can't tell if it's done right, especially with animals as opposed to human beings. But some of the other stuff, like when they're going to Mos Eisley and they're going through in the speeder and just the speed of the shot, where the camera's shot from, it's not the tone of Star Wars, doesn't make any sense. It looks like you're watching a cutscene from a video game. Takes you out of it. Didn't like that. I've got some positives I think I'm ready to get into. But
Not yet. Save the goodies because I don't think.
Yeah.
Did they CGI that
and then,
mole
here's the
on
last
his
one I'll
head?
say.
Okay.
Adding Vader saying in Jedi, adding him saying no again as Luke is getting shocked by the Emperor.
Twice.
Fucking ridiculous.
Twice.
It was terrible when he said it after finding out Padme died. It was even worse when you add it to Return of the Jedi and sour one of the best movies. It was silent. He didn't need to say that. The fact that he just didn't need to be in there.
The greatness of that scene too, and one thing I remember from that is obviously because there wasn't any dialogue. I mean, it's just a simple act. We know what was going on there, but the fact that as soon as he makes his decision and he grabs the Emperor, you actually hear the theme song of the series start to play. So you actually kind of almost tie his redemption into like this is happening. This is him essentially kind of rejecting what he was, and you hear that. I mean, it's not loud.
You feel it, though.
Yeah, it's not loud, but it's subtle enough to really get into this guy is essentially redeeming himself. But
yeah, the no kind of takes you out.
It does.
Of that.
It does. Even the no's themselves weren't well done. They could have done better no's.
All right, what you got?
Well, I mean, a lot of the CGI stuff that just hasn't aged well. The one that I distinctly remember is the takeoff sequence of the fleet from Yavin. When they first leave, when they leave off into the horizon.
I thought that was pretty good.
It's weak when they leave. It's
been a while since I've seen it.
It's terrible when you see their approach to the Death Star because that looks almost like they didn't even use fully developed CGI. It looks like this is kind of almost like the model stuff for how we want the storyboards to look. But yeah, because I remember when we watched the original, like the one that was pieced together that used the unaltered footage, and you honestly just watch what that scene really was, and it's essentially just like a series of like white little blips just kind of moving in sequence off. I mean, that actually was more engaging to me than what I saw in the remake.
It felt more like the movie.
Yeah.
Some of the CGI. I mean, if you watch that and stuff in like episode 7 or a more modern movie, it kind of fits. Watching it with the rest of the movie definitely feels shoehorned in. Yeah. Yep. Got anything else? Remember, just changes.
Yeah.
We could talk negatives.
Stuff that
the
was
sun
altered.
came up and we ran out of storage space.
Yeah, the expansion of the Sarlacc pit.
That didn't bug me as much. It was just so brief and small, but the more you watch the CG...
Again, it's CGI that they added to it. It just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah. It was definitely just Lucas flexing his muscles like, hey, we could, why not?
Yeah.
Well, don't just do something because you can. Do it with a purpose.
Yeah.
And the hiding of R2 in the cave in A New Hope when he's
I forgot about that.
It's just,
why did they do that?
I don't know. It's like he was already there, but they somehow thought, let's throw some rocks in front of him, some CGI rocks. Why? They're there.
Didn't they change Obi-Wan Kenobi's noise that he makes too when he's
the crate dragon? Yeah, they did. Yeah, so it was.
Do we even care? I don't even remember what it was. So.
Well, it was just kind of. I liked it. Again, you like it in the original because it's a startling noise.
Yeah.
It's some kind of weird creature. You just see something figure off in the distance, just kind of flapping their arms around. So.
Yep. But a lot of stuff that didn't need to be there. That just did it because they could, which is sad.
Yeah.
Matt, what else you got for negatives?
I guess I have a question, and maybe this is just me in the years since watching the original. I feel like they added like a mole or a wart on both Ewan McGregor and the original actor to like carry it through. Like, this is the same person because he's got this dot on his forehead.
I'm not for sure, but I think that was natural.
Well, maybe it was something Ewan McGregor had, and he got it removed or something because I haven't noticed it since. But
yeah. Don't get me wrong. You very easily could be right. Let me pull up a picture.
Sir Alec Guinness have a mole?
He had a mole where?
On his forehead or something?
It's like on his forehead, like above his eyebrow. I think it's like right here.
Looking up Ewan McGregor mole.
If he didn't have it, them adding it makes sense because, I mean, if it's going to be the same character, of course it'd just be part of his makeup though, right?
But do you need to CGI it in there?
Oh, did they see? Oh, they added that later?
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, I think there was, from when you watched episode 1 through 3,
Yeah, I don't see.
you notice that Ewan McGregor has it, and then when it goes to episode 4, it was there. I mean, that's like
The ghost mole.
yeah, force mole.
Force mole, yeah. That mole is strong with the force. The force flows through it.
No, he's actually got that naturally.
Okay.
Wow, that's just good luck.
Sorry.
That's just a bump in the right spot, but wow, that would be a lot. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me because I mean, I know Lucas is big in checking his shot, and he'll just be like, give him antennas. Switch this up. Change this over here.
Yeah. Give him a mole.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. Well, let's try to end on a positive note. Think if you can think of at least one thing that were good changes. I had a couple. Now I'm forgetting them because of all the negativity in this room. That was the point of the topic. Here's what I would say. This was a change. It was a prequel change. The original episode 1 Yoda looked like a fucking mess. I mean, he didn't even look like Yoda. It was creepy. You know, he almost had the same eyes as the orangutan emperor from episode 5, you know, in The Empire Strikes Back. So when they redid that as CGI after episode 3, when they've gotten so good, because the CGI for Yoda in 3 was awesome, I thought. I mean, some of those scenes looked so real. I thought that fits way more. It looks like the Yoda that we all know and remember. And then that's all I can think of for now. Let's see if I can come up with one more.
I don't know if I can even say good. At best I could probably say neutral.
Yeah.
Just the redoing of Boba Fett's voice so it matches in the prequel as well as the original trilogy.
It made sense.
Yeah.
Whether we liked it or not, it made sense. Sure.
So I'll give it a neutral.
Sure.
I can't go good.
No, that's fair. Matt? You have to. You have to think of something positive, man.
A positive change.
I have to agree with some of the touches and like the remastering touches, like the clarity of the shots and some of those things.
Sure.
I mean, if you were going to bring it kind of along with the other ones, you had to do something because you can't have something that was shot in 70s and 80s
right
on film competing with something that was shot on IMAX cameras and stuff.
Yep.
So some of the remastered stuff, it did make sense and it was good to have on there because it made some of those shots clearer.
Right.
So.
Well, I tell you what, I think that we're emptying our allotment of positives. We're out of inventory in this. Here's the last one I can think of, and we'll end on this note. If you can think of anything else out there at internet, go ahead and leave us a comment below. Changing the original inscriptions and writing that was on the stuff in the Death Star from English in episode 4, which on all the rest it uses the Star Wars language. What's it called? Arabesh or something like that, whatever the language is that you see on all the menus everywhere else. Changing that to the Arabesh language. So like in episode 4, if you see when he's going there, it says tractor beam power. Well, in English. That's the only time you see English in all of Star Wars. Everywhere else it's their own language called Arabesh. It just made sense, you know. Okay, go ahead and change that.
Off switch.
Yeah. It's like getting into a TIE fighter. Here's a switch. Wings stay on, wings fall off. I'm going to leave it up. Okay. Cool. And we won't try to force positives anymore. I guess, you know, one thing I could say finally is adding to the mythology, changing the fact that we got Anakin had a Padawan named Ahsoka could have gone really bad and ended up going really, really well.
Yeah.
So that was a good change. Very good change. Probably the best. Here we go.
One thing I would have liked to have seen was the Porkins belly run maneuver, which apparently is an actual thing because the man liked to fly low.
Do you guys like the fact that they added that extra footage of Biggs and all that stuff? I think that gave some more depth to Biggs dying in the trench run, whereas before you're like, there's that big scene where he looks like shocked, and we're like, dude, 3 other people just died. You didn't stop and pause. That gave a little bit more depth to it.
Yeah, think you're bulletproof, man?
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess I always took it as, well, he's part of this, you know, as soon as they go into the trench, they're a 3-man squad. They're tight.
Yeah.
But
sure.
So, yeah, it wasn't Like, all right, Biggs is gone. That sucks.
Anyway, stay on target.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else? We good?
I think we're good.
Okay, cool. We've mined that as much as we possibly can. In fact, we might have even kept digging.
Until the next episode when we'll talk about it again.
Yeah.